Before I get started, I got to give you the homework. Normally I give you homework at the end, or sometimes I don't give you homework at all, but I am a French professor. I am a professor, a real deal professor, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes of homework. All you got to do is listen to the song Acts 1.5 by Saba No I.D. It's 2 minutes long. It's got this creepy bass line, creeping bass line, a weird junky metal can rhythm, a little end of the bar drum line, a sample that comes from CCS, their version of the song I Want You Back. It's all kind of chopped up and kind of dillified with these crazy cool horns that just come in like halfway through. Such delicate, fascinating production with all this development that goes on, but in such a subtle way. It's embellishment, but without ever falling apart, without ever getting too ornate. You know, it could be Baroque without being Rococo. You might not know what that means, but you might know what I mean, and that's what I'm talking about. And then at a certain point, the percussion goes out, and it's just the horns, and it's just this voice, and it's just this rapper who's rapping. And what's the song called? Acts 1.5. For John baptized with water, but in a few days you will be baptized by the Holy Spirit. That's the line from the Bible that they're choosing, and I feel I'm going to be I'm going to be cringe, and I'm going to say this is baptizing you in the Holy Spirit of hip-hop, because that's what this is. It is just everything that you want. MC, DJ, producer, rapper, just these two people working together making rap at its top level. I'm Al Capone, fresh out the womb, about to fuck the street up. Al Capone was from Cicero, Illinois, near Chicago. This guy's from Chicago. Saba's from Chicago. No ID's from Chicago. Mike Tyson, the microphone, about to fuck the beat up. The only that is stopping me is Jesus. What a great line. Calling Jesus that. That's interesting. My God black, his afro like Velcro. Exactly. I don't know what Jesus looked like. I know one thing he didn't look like. He didn't look like me with long hair. That's what a lot of people think. He didn't. When I had long hair, people say, you look like Jesus. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't think Jesus got a lot of sunburns. I don't think so. Anyways, I do. My God black, his hair like Velcro. My car black, the climate changed. Al Gore. That's an Al Gore. I'm Braun, headed to Akron. I'm going back home. This whole album's about Chicago. Get back to you, everything you have on. I move off. I move off love, not fear. Still wish I would like Buzz Lightyear. I done bubbled up, caught a buzz like beer. Light year, bite year, woody, wish a woody, built this, swear you think it was IKEA. I'm going to tell you how it really was, my dear, because I'm afraid there isn't nothing really I fear. That kind of cleverness in that line, not just the Woody and the Buzz Lightyear and all that, but even the idea of building with IKEA and saying, I'm afraid there's nothing I fear. That's a clever, funny, interesting line. I'm afraid there's nothing I fear. It's also clever. It's also fun. It just rides out with these sounds and these little watery tunes. And thank you for auditing the Always Positive Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor I just get the sense that we might be living in a golden age of MCs and DJs. I don't know. I mean, that's what rap has been. That's what rap is supposed to be. But I feel like for a long time there were just very few projects, or at least that I was noticing, that were just like MC, DJ. You know? And right now we have that whole run by Nas and Hit Boy, Alchemist and like 7 different people, Woods and Siegel, hell, Future and Metro Boomin, or this year Fat Ray and Black Milk. I mean, how many albums do we have that are coming out that are just this amazing pairing, MC and DJ? There's so many examples I get tired, and it's great for rap music. This morning my daughter asked me, what do you do for work? I mean, she's 2, right? So I said, I'm working. I said, I'm working on music. She said, I'm working. She said, French? I said, well, I'm not teaching French right now. I'm teaching music. I'm teaching hip-hop. She's like, oh, hip-hop. 2-year-old, hip-hop. And she kept on saying hip-hop. And we listened to this, and we listened to Rosa Parks by Outkast, because that's the song I'm teaching. And, what better example of what hip-hop can be than this? DJ, MC, Eric B, Rakim, No ID, Saba, right? So let's start with No ID. I just learned that his name is Dion backwards. How have I never thought that? I mean, we were talking about Kanye's mentor. We were talking about the co-producer of Heartless, of Run This Town, 2 of the best Kanye beats. We're talking the producer of Death of Autotune, the producer of Control, the producer of the story of OJ. Oh my God, how many great verses, how many great songs does this guy have? How important? Common, Jay Electronica, Nas, Drake, Vince Staples, he's worked with everybody. And the thing is, he doesn't, at least that I hear, he doesn't have like a super signature sound. He's just so easy with his beats, often kind of jazzy feeling, great sense of rhythm, great atmosphere, especially with little vocal sounds in the back. Great. He has an ability to make what I call feel-good rap beats. It's kind of a weird niche in rap music. The best example I can think of, my favorite one, is the song My Man Rich by Biz Markie. It takes a sample from Junior Walker and the All-Stars, the instrumental version of the song Way Back Home. Do 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 do. Okay, like there's a way of making rap beats. I think Salam Remy is also really good at that too. Like, you know I can be what I want to be. You know, a way of like writing rap beats that make you feel. De La Soul did a lot of this stuff too. Like when they were working with Prince Paul, I'm thinking of songs like "Three Days a Magic Number" or the joint they did with Teenage Fan Club on the Judgment Night soundtrack, the Free Falling thing. Like rap beats that are sort of uplifting and make you feel good and have like a sense of resolution. And No I.D is a master at that. Also, just what does it mean? Like what does it mean? I'm a teacher, right? And when you're a teacher, the thing you want, and it's not just Yoda who says this in The Last Jedi. It's not just Yoda who says this in The Last Jedi, but we are we are what our students transcend, right? Like my best student, she now has a better job than I have. Okay, and I cannot wait to watch her just keep on going and totally outstrip me. And so, No I.D is this guy who's influenced all these people, and he's been this great teacher, and he's seen all these people go so far. But he also gets to make this great music, and we get to study it, and he makes it with Saba, right? And Saba, first of all, shout out to Patreon Evan Walsh, who gave me the highest rate so I would review the album Care For Me, where I discovered Saba and his humanist tendencies, his moralist, his ability to observe human nature, his existentialism, his sense of gratitude, how losing his friend and his cousin helped him to better understand his life. That's how I was introduced to Saba, was someone gave me money. This is how good my life is. Someone gave me money to listen to Saba. I mean, that's pretty cool right there. So props to Evan Walsh for taking that, and this one's for free, everybody. He's amazing at singing and rapping, but he doesn't do like 50-50. But that kind of like I'm in a IDK sort of lane of singer rappers, where it's like more rapping, but I don't know, it's just great. And his positioning is sort of. It is kind of J. Cole-like in the way that he presents himself, because he's not always like the nicest with rhymes. I mean, I'll quote from that same song I started off with, Acts 1.5. I've been slept on and stepped over, the less noticed, stepping up to bat like the Mets at a Met Gala. It's like, oh my God, it is sleeting like nuts out there. If you hear the sound of sleeting, that's what that is. Like stepping up to bat like the Mets at a Met Gala. It's not terrible, but he's not like bars. He's this great mixture. He's just this very sort of like, there's a hymness to us. There's a personality, a sort of authenticity to his rapping and his rhyming and his singing and everything that just helps you feel like you really have a sense of who he is, even if sometimes that's a little bit goofy. A lot of themes of Jesus and God, a lot of it about like the problems of being a rapper, a little bit the issues with mainstream rap. But the main thing I think this is about how to be good. Like not how to be great, how to be good. If you have to choose in life to be a good man or a great man, I hope you choose to be a good man. Because the world doesn't need great men. It doesn't. Great man does not mean good man. Okay? Those are different things. Elon Musk is a great man. Okay? Who got up there? Napoleon. He was a great man, all right? We don't need great men. We need good men, okay? So that's how I feel this album is about. Before I even get into the whole album, I'm going to do another stamp, a double stamp, another piece of homework. If you haven't heard the song How to Impress God, hey, I don't think I've ever heard a rap song like this before. I've heard a lot of rap songs about God and about Jesus and about not living up, but this seems like the clearest. This is maybe the clearest theology I've heard in a rap song ever. Even more than Closed on Sunday. He said in some interview that I found pertaining, I think, on Genius, feel like I've been challenged to set up how I see myself. So he's trying to figure out how does he see himself. Now, No I.D. gives you these sweet underground songs, this super tight bass drum, these little tinkling sounds, this killer beat that's just way below, and this cut up sample. It sounds like it puts you in a place. It puts you in a place of mind. He's like, No I.D. is putting you in a place where you might be a little bit out there, a little bit mysterious, not quite knowing where you are, which is setting you up for these lyrics, these crazy lyrics from Saba. I had a year full of tour dates. Last I checked, I said I'd never go and change and got dressed. I felt like I heard God say, I'm not impressed. He's not saying he's talking to God. He's saying he felt like he's talking to God. That's a big difference. I felt like I heard God say, I'm not impressed. Is it important to impress God? That's an interesting idea. If you believe in God, I believe in God. If you don't, peace be with you. Or nothing be with you. I don't care. But I believe in God. I don't ever really think about impressing God, but I do want to please God, so I guess that's what this is about. And it's all about the things that don't impress God. I'm not impressed you streamed over 200 million. I'm not impressed you bought a crib, put your people in it. I'm not impressed the years you've been getting bigger. I'm not impressed you've inspired millions of people. And ends with the line, don't you know you are enough? This is going to get official Professor Sky chair spin for one of the best lyrics of the year. Don't you know you're enough? There's nothing better that God could say to you. If you believe God exists, I do. If you don't, that's awesome. If you believe God exists, that's the truth, everybody. You're enough. Beautiful. And then the next verse is from God's perspective. Are you kidding me? Now, what's No I.D. going to do? No I.D. is going to pitch up the tone just a smidge. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly the way the beat on Good Credit was tuned up a little bit for Kendrick's verse after Playboi Carti's verse. I'm not trying to say that Kendrick is my savior. I'm trying to say it's a similar trick to denote some kind of higher level of conversation, higher level of discussion happening here, tuning it up. Talking about how the Reaper's really not grim. If you believe in God, death is not the end, my friends. Just remember, death is not the end. The Reaper's really not that grim. Talking about how God sends people obstacles. Quote, I even sent someone to pretend they didn't believe. I sent people to complicate all the simplest things. The fact that you showed up here is not a surprise, but Saba, you showed love, and that is all I required. 2 spins, 1 song, everybody. That's it. If you believe in God, God telling you you are enough and you showed love and that's all you need to do is just about the most beautiful way you could put any kind of sincere relationship with God who you are trying to impress, who you are trying to please, and understanding that all the worldly stuff you can do doesn't matter if you have 153,000 subscribers, Professor Sky. Doesn't matter if the person watching this likes the video right now and puts an AA in the comments, which means awesome videos always, and that I heart it. That's not impressing God. What impresses God is that I'm showing love. That I'm a good person. God doesn't care about great people. He doesn't. Sorry, Iluma. I apologize. I apologize to all of you megalomaniacs. I apologize to myself because I try to be a great man. It's worthless. Next song. Okay, now I'm going to go through the rest of the album a little bit quicker. Every Painting Has a Price. Beautiful title. The album is called From the Private Collection of, which is what it will sometimes say at a museum. Underneath a painting, it will sometimes say From the Private Collection of when a painting has been donated to a museum. So it's trying to value their art, show the value of their art, show that it is as though it could be up on a wall in a museum, in a gallery, okay? Not in a gallery, in a museum, from the private collection of. That we need to be treating this with the same level of seriousness that we would treat, I don't know, Picasso or Virgil Abloh. Okay? That's who I have on my wall. Crazy beat starting off for this. Yeah. Might even be Curtis Mayfield. The beat settles in. All I need to get by. Again, really in that My Man Rich sweet rap beat. That's what I'm like. Sweet rap. Sweet rap. Man, how many songs are sweet rap? This is sweet rap. These emphatic pianos, that great sample from the band Mountain. Louder! You know, from EPMD. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, here. Boom, 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 boom. Louder! You know what I'm talking about? God damn, what's the name of that song? It's Your Thing. I was singing it for so long because I was trying to remember the name of the song. EPMD is a world premiere. You would have had me out here for 15 minutes before I remembered the name of the damn song. But I love it because I think No I.D, while he may be a teacher of Kanye, he does seem like he's a disciple of EPMD, of their production style, of that great atmosphere, because they're able to hit that atmosphere as well. The drums get more emphatic. He's rapping, he's singing, and he just says, I've seen all my heroes become human. And he just starts like singing. He said, those who help me more than you know. Beautiful, just beautiful singing, all about like sober, and I was vocally sober till I buried my brothers, thinking everything to knock us, God lifted the gutter. When the smoke cleared, notice I was still in the buffer between being a superstar and the next in the hustle, trying to figure out where is he in his life, how does he need to behave, what's his relationship with sobriety, with the streets, with the death that's all around him. And then BJ, the Chicago kid. Hey, who's got two thumbs and has been sleeping on BJ the Chicago Kid? Me. I feel like every time I hear him, I love him. So, I don't know. I think I should check out his music. What a beautiful voice he has. Then we get to the song Breakdown. More like trappy drums. Unexpected here. Great horn hits, jazzy organs. A lot of singing about not being a god. But then this funny opening. He's doing yoga. He's doing yoga. All right? He's straight up doing yoga. Let me quote the opening lines. I'm doing yoga. Stretching it, pepping my step and shit. Inhale, exhale in the movement. Lately, the only way I've been ending my day is take a mat and then I lay on it. Wake and think about what you're grateful for. Well, today I woke up and I ain't in a coma. The beautiful gratitude that comes with understanding how lucky you are to be alive. It's all about gratitude. It's about being a good person. A good person can be grateful. A great person is never grateful because they're always trying to be greater. Inhale, exhale. My first yoga instructor was at my college in southern Massachusetts, and she had a very thick Rhode Island accent. And when we do Shavasana, which is the corpse pose where you're supposed to lie down and relax, she would talk like this. Okay, inhale and exhale. And I just laughed my ass off. I couldn't relax. Next track is Crash, featuring Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child. I wonder what happened to the other two in that band. And Raphael Saadiq. Listen. I love Raphael Saadiq because every single time I hear his name, I just think of the verse off of It's Yours by You God, super freak physique, like Raphael Saadiq. The best opening line in that song, even better than Ghostface Killah's Check Out My Beaver. Super funky drum line, chunky drum line, cool little 80s synth style bass, really unexpected opening lines. I put my flag on the moon with my heart in my hand. There's space in my crib if you need somewhere to land. This whole song, this is basically Baby It's Cold Outside without the menace. It's just like if you're hanging around with a lady and there's maybe some flirtatious stuff and like, why don't you just stay here? Why don't you crash here? Baby, crash. I like it. It feels real. This feels real. This is not like misogynist, like it's wetter than a slip and slide and I'm going to buy you a bag. None of that stuff. This is like real human sexual interaction, like you can stay here. I mean, no, don't take it wrong. Just if you wanted... you just, how can I say this? It doesn't sound creepy. Would you like to sleep in my bed? No. Do you want to have a sleepover? Oh, that's weird. Slumber party? Crash. Hey, you want to crash? That's how it works. It's how it works. It's beautiful. It's like, it's erotic in the real sense of like humanness, Damn, did I just say a bunch of stuff to get clipped? I don't think so. Woes of the World, head nod, languid beat. Almost White Lotus style sounds in the background, all about like the pain and trauma and learning how to get used to life when you're not suffering through woes. Mixture of self-reflection and anger at the state of rap. I'm really selfish and jaded, but all my limitations are what kept me alive. Now I look at all entertainment as one and the same. I give a fuck if you're famous when everything's violent. Is it a coincidence? These little sound similar. We just assembly lined it. So there's not too much of this kind of preachy, like, I'm good rap, they're bad rap, but there's a little bit of it. And it makes sense because, he's doing a lot of interesting stuff here that other people aren't doing. Stop Playing With Me, jazz bass, peppy guitar, no drums to start, just kind of talking. I hear a lot of De La Soul in this whole album. Maybe it's just because it's jazzy, maybe it's just because I like this and I like De La Soul, but then there's this whole thing where this violin gets matched with a piano. No I.D on the track, let the story begin. God, beautiful. weird echoing line into the infinite, and then it just stops. Then we get the song West Side Bound Part 4, maybe my least favorite song on the album, although I do like it. You know, it's West Side is in the West Side of Chicago. These triumphant horn sounds, again, more trap style drums, almost like a Denzel Curry style flow, like kind of an angry style flow. If you see someone, he's always winning, he's not gambling, he's cheating. That's true. That's very funny. But then on the back, remember, did I just say I didn't like this song that much? No, that's wrong. I do like this song that much because the beat changes like completely and becomes, in the first verse, the beat changes. It becomes like almost like a Brazilian samba-y. Ah, da, 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 da. And it's got this really cool chorus. Then MF and Mello comes in, part of the Pivot Gang, which is Saba's whole crew. As far as I can tell, there isn't a single non-awesome part of Pivot Crew, so I guess I need to pay more attention to Pivot Crew. This is the whole point of the channel, by the way. Maybe some of you only watch me because of the beef and stuff, and that's awesome. And if you're still watching this and you came to me from the beef, then you and I, we are friends, okay? But like, rap music is awesome. Hip-hop is awesome. We are in a great place right now. There is more good hip-hop than I can review. I do not have enough time in the week. Even this, my day today has been meeting, class, meeting, this, meeting. Okay? That's been my day. I'm squeezing this in here because I got to fit in because there's just not enough time to talk about all this great rap music and hip-hop that's being made. And it's been that way. Next song is called Head Rap. Madison McFerrin, Bobby McFerrin's daughter. Really cool, kind of like 4 on the floor with the bass, but then the drums are syncopated except for the bass line. And I have no way of understanding the song. So the relationship between black Americans, or people of African descent in much of the world, people of African descent outside of Africa, their relationship to how they wear their hair and what that communicates about them is something that people not of African descent cannot possibly understand. We just can't. There's just it's totally alien to me. So I've heard other songs about like female black women and their relationship to hair, but this is not the first. I forget the other one, but it's pretty rare to hear a man. This whole song is about his relationship with his hair and dreadlocks. And it's real, and it's interesting because, obviously I think a lot about my hair. I used to have long hippie hair, like I said. I used to have hair down to here, I don't have a picture of it here, but anyways, I used to have, that's how I used to be, right? I used to have like a buzz cut, I used to have hair too short on the side, so I looked like a little Nazi. Didn't like that bit, I think about my hair, but it doesn't communicate the same stuff. And that's what this whole thing is about. Like, what do dreadlocks communicate? Does it communicate that you like weed, as it says in the song, or that you're a savage, as he says in this song, okay? And when he cuts his hair, all of a sudden they let him fly without a random search. That's true. I don't get randomly searched at all anymore. I used to get randomly searched all the time when my hair was down to here. I'm sure it's much worse if I were not white and if I had dreads. But it's this interesting idea about, like, growing out your hair, keep growing out your hair. People, where I went to grad school, thought I was a weed dealer. They walked up to me and said, "Are you the dank man?" And I said, "I'm not the dank man. I'm a French professor." And they got scared and ran away. Acts 1.5, I already discussed it. Reciprocity, this cool kind of clav loop, and then it kind of comes in. It's almost, I think it's the exact same loop as the Good Morning Mr. West beat. That beat? I think it's that. Stomping is this beautiful, like, breezy drums and weird songs, this little squeaks. And these little guitar runs, and the sound of balloons losing air. You know that sound? Damn, I nailed it. High five. That sound, and then it's this whole stomping thing. Again, feels kind of Denzel Curry-ish. It does. This feels like a Midwestern Denzel Curry style song. Because much like Denzel Curry, he's like talking about stomping, but really he's not like being violent. It's more just about like expressing his personhood and his existence in a way that's aggressive but also humble, right? Runway garments, but my t-shirt is plain today. It came from Target. Stomping in some shit I can't pronounce for nothing. Stomping. I don't think how much it's all puppets. It's just so sweetly, and then eventually these claps come in on the 1/4, and then it's artsy fartsy mommy. And then we get to the song Big Picture. I don't like the drum beat. But he changes it halfway through. So the drum beat's like, but then he gets a sample that sounds like the same drum beat, but it's like a far away sample, so it's cool. And the whole thing's about pictures. I don't want to spend the time. I don't have the time, actually, because I have another meeting in like 10 minutes. God damn. Too busy. Take a sip of coffee. But it's a masterclass in taking a theme and developing it. That wasn't on purpose. That wasn't on purpose. The theme is photography. Developing it. Flash photography, light rays, rolls of film, get exposed, dark room, disposable cameras, the city of point and shoot, cameras on the poles indicating surveillance state, empty the shots left in the roll, Polaroid every word of mine. Wouldn't be polarizing. You have a polarized plane. Sometimes you see inside the lens, you got to go behind it. Oh my God. And there's this otherworldly quality of the singing of this chorus, especially as the real drums come in, and this kind of atmospheric, how y'all doing in the back? And then the next verse is still about photography. It's all about like negatives, and then it talks about like after doing all this work, you just have a picture that's put on the wall for some snob to talk about. So this goes back to the main theme of the album being called from the private collection of that, like you do all this work to make this great art, and then the most you can possibly hope for is some like fucking snob to talk about your art work. Sky, I think he might be talking about you. Me? I'm the snob looking at the picture in the gallery trying to explain it. I hope not. I could be a little bit. Do most snobs have stuffed animals? Have stuffed little stuffies of Bismarcky? Maybe they do. Anyways. Beautiful song. 30 Sec Chop featuring Joseph Chilliams and Jean De. I don't know how to pronounce her name. More jazzy sound. Really nice verse here. To the people who listen and any line I share, I gotta say thank you and you're welcome. I grew up a scholar. All my homies grew up with the Sellies. I turned the impossible odds into more, into ready. Talking again about a lot of the lyrics are sort of about being a good kid in a mad city. His older brother has a great verse. Where we come from, you can't be no weak one. They poke a hole in a like a Capri Sun. I am starting a class action lawsuit against the makers of Capri Sun. Because when I was in elementary school, you made me feel like I was stupid because I couldn't figure out how to get the thing in the pouch. I would just put the hole through the top of the pouch, and so I would be like sucking air. I just couldn't, and then I would squeeze it while I was pushing it in, so that the Capri Cooler would come out of the hole and down my hand, and my hands would get sticky, and I wouldn't have, and eventually I'd just throw away the straw and just put it up and just be like some kind of like vampire at a blood bank, just sucking on the bag. It's great. Jean Doe's verse is great as well. How to Impress God, I've already discussed that. She Called It, featuring Fresh Waters and True. Very sweet singing to start, simple electric pianos, beautiful, nice first verse. Squeaky with me anytime you see my hair nap eatens that believe me before we were savvy. The business is used to who's who. Fools who rushed in are in pools of bodies that are buried in black suits. Of course, I take my time. The way he sings, actually, one more time for the Bismarcky Stuffy. The way he sings, actually, it reminds me of Bismarcky's singing. Not the Just a Friend, but his other stuff. He had a lot of great songs, especially on his third album. A Few Songs is the final track. Open hi-hat, tsk, 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 on the 1, 2, 3, 4. These just crazy cut-up loops. How does No I.D. do it? I don't know. Someone in my community section said this reminds you of early Kanye, but obviously early Kanye reminds you of this. It's very cool and very personable style coming here from Saba. Gold chains on, but I'm awkward in person. We ain't talking about watches and purses. What I say you gotta watch because they lurk in on your plots for the bag. Like, stop it, I'm nervous. Even around here, even officers is murdered. Smino comes on. He's super hard. Beautiful singing outro from OG. These lyrics: it's okay to feel the love and let it go. It's okay to change. It's also beautiful. Is that my phone? No, man, my phone's not even set up. I don't even know the password to my own office phone number. Bad professor. Yeah, it's okay to change it. It's also beautiful. Gratitude, the desire to be a good person, making these sweet rhymes. Everything's just so damn sweet and not saccharine. Oh, Okay, saccharine means overly sweet, means kind of gross. Okay, this is not saccharine. This is, one second. I got to illustrate this point. All right, like too sweet is like it's like a candy, you know, or it's like, I don't know, like a chocolate cake with chocolate ice cream on top and chocolate jimmies. You know, it's too much. You know, this is sweet like a sumo orange. You ever have a sumo orange? Oh my God, it's so sweet. It's better than normal orange. It's more expensive. It's kind of a luxury, you know, but it's like sweet and nourishing, and there's something about it. It doesn't taste like everything else that's sweet. It just has like a certain tanginess and a sweetness to it, and that's what this album is. Props to my Patreons. Oh God, that's good. This is that Axe 1.5 orange. Evan Walsh, still props. Thank you for introducing me to Saba, Rippling Sun, Toby Repellent, and Cam. They all asked for shout-outs. I offered shout-outs, and there we go. All right, off to my next meeting. I have to figure out how to advise students in a program that I am not familiar with. So that sucks. I would much rather be talking to you about hip-hop, but got my 9 to 5. All right, there's the camera.